Welcome to episode 85 of The Voices of Boyle, the podcast that captures local stories, shared memories and conversations with people who have a connection to our wonderful town. In this episode, both Florence and myself chat with David Cryan. David opens up about the vibrant social scene of the 80s and 90s in Boyle, gala festivals, and even shares his reflections on a life-changing accident. His honesty about overcoming challenges, finding new ways to enjoy life, and the importance of friendship and talking about the tough times is both inspiring and moving. So if you're interested in hearing about Boyle through the decades, then this episode is definitely one you want to listen to. So let's get into the episode with David Cryan. David, you're very welcome to the Voices of Boyle. Thank you for joining us today.
Well, Carlo and Florence, thank you very much for inviting me today. It was the very last thing that I ever expected.
Not at all.
So it's an honour. Thank you, guys.
Very welcome.
David.
So, David, let's bring us back to the very start. Where did you grow up?
Grew up out in Cloonloo, Durrynaughran, overlooking Lough Gara. If you have magnifying glass or if you have binoculars, you'll see it fairly well. Out in the country, so
Out in the sticks, as
out
they
in
say.
the sticks,
Yeah.
yeah. So it was all farming background. It was originally a bit of milking cattle.
What were those like? Can you have like strong any kind of memories? I would presume you were helping your mother or your father on the farm, that kind of thing.
Yeah, Grandad was still there as well. So, like, we'd come home from school, and I don't actually remember having dinner, but I remember that we used to go out feeding the cattle, and when they were in the sheds, so to be watering them and feeding them and mucking them out and all that, and then maybe a dinner in the evening afterwards, and a bit of homework, I suppose, had to be done at some stage. But
A great upbringing, David, when you think.
well, it's a little bit
lessons.
different, right, to nowadays. Yeah,
You'd be drinking the raw milk,
the raw milk, straight from the cow.
Yeah.
Straight out
warm,
of the bucket.
warm raw milk.
And would that have been national school then, David? Coming home from national school, getting all that work done, and then the bit of homework, as you said, on the side.
It would have probably been late national school, because I doubt it was doing much farming at 7 or 8,
Yeah.
so maybe 10, 11, 12. So it was into secondary school then as well, maybe for a few years.
And did you love it?
I wouldn't do anything different again.
Yeah.
Really,
It
yeah.
was
So you
brilliant.
had a great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And was there many like the way when I hear even today you see some of them country schools that have like 2 classrooms with maybe, well, nowadays I think it's maybe 20 or 30 in each, but back in those days as well, David, was the same, was it? There was only a couple of classrooms or maybe 2 teachers in the school, that way, kind of like what Grange used to have as well.
Well, a lot of this country schools, it'd still be that way. They'd still have, they say, 3rd and 4th together, 5th and 6th together, kind of in the one room.
That was it.
Yeah.
And there was either 2 or 3 teachers.
Yes,
Yeah. And there was 2 classes in each room
Right.
at the same time.
2 classes.
From my recollection, there could have been 2 classes. I'll have to think back about that, though.
Mm.
Yeah.
So then you went to national school in Cloonloo.
Coolfather, yeah.
Okay, right. And you did go to St. Mary's then for your secondary.
St. Mary's then and for the secondary school,
The
yeah.
famous St. Mary's.
Oh, the famous, indeed.
So come on, tell us, what was St. Mary's like back for you then?
yeah. How long have you got?
Oh, it was good fun. Let's say, well, I mitched one day, but I'm not sure why. I think it was so that I could say that I mitched one day. But
You could be in the club.
yeah, and I actually got caught for it as well the one time I mitched. But yeah, no, school was fun,
Yeah.
interesting.
Well, yeah, everyone says the same that went to St. Mary's, myself included.
Yeah.
I personally loved it.
Yeah,
I
loved
thought it was a
too.
great atmosphere. Any teachers that stood out for you that you remember fondly from St. Mary's?
Well, I think Don Conlon was the principal when I left. So I always kind of remember the good reference he gave me. So Don was fairly good. Of course, Francie was entertaining.
There was a few entertaining characters, in fairness.
There was. Oh, it was, yeah.
Yeah.
There was a few days the knocks came to the door with other teachers wondering, oh, sorry that we didn't realise there was a teacher here today at all.
From the noise.
It was, yeah.
And was there, in my day, there was this kind of, not divide, but there was the townies against the kind of country bucks, if you know what I mean. Now, it was like an unspoken rule, if you know what I mean. The country bus would come in with the lads, some Giva, Caish, Cloonloo, whatever, and then you'd have the townies that didn't need the bus to get to school, if you know what I mean. Was that also, was there a bit of a, not a clique as such, but was there a little kind of division there between?
I won't say there was. You see, being from Cloonloo, we were kind of very friendly with the Boyle people. And during those times, if you were any further than Cloonloo from Boyle, you were kind of against Boyle. So there was a lot of rivalry going on between Gurchin, Ballindreen, Ballymote, all of those areas,
which continued on into the nightlife in Boyle, which we'll get to as well.
The nightlife,
these little factions.
The factions. Usually it was in Boyle, but Balladreen was a very, very. They were very fond of having action in Balladreen. I remember one night in Balla, the national anthem just started when the very first punch was thrown and the first man dropped. The shutters went down, the doors were closed, guards stuck their heads in the doors, bouncers, you couldn't see them for anything, everybody was behind metal doors.
Was this in the nightclub in CJ's, was it? Or?
This was in the Castlemore.
Castlemore, right.
Yeah.
Was that, I might think, was there a place called CJ's, or maybe it was Castlemore? I'm getting mixed up, I'd say.
I'm not sure. I remember a place called CJ's, but I can't remember. Castlemore is, I can't even remember.
Yeah, I know.
Is Castlemore still going now or not?
I don't know. I always thought it was CJ's, maybe. Yeah. I'm sure someone listening now will say, no, it was this.
It was closed for 2 months for renovations after that night, anyway.
So, Dave, getting back to St. Mary's, if you have a standout memory that you could share from, or something that you always remember from your 5 years. I presume you went for 5 years.
5 years, yeah. I think, everybody meeting in the big hall. What was that?
Complex.
The complex, yeah. And was it Father Lavender or Father Early? It could have been both of them. We'd all have a prayer or whatever it was, and all head off then to class.
Yeah.
That was...
That something sticks out like that, yeah.
I don't know, that probably still doesn't go on or anything, I'm sure.
So that was like an assembly?
Yeah.
It was an assembly. You do a roll call as well, wasn't there? And whoever was absent.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, that was gone by my time now.
Was it?
I remember a fella told me that he was a year below me. He remembers he was big into the sport, but he was missing Monday, and Don Conlon, the principal, was doing the roll call, and he said his name, and big absent came from everyone. And Don says, well, if there was a game of football on, he'd be here. Which is true, It was like you wouldn't miss the football. For whatever was going on, you definitely wouldn't miss the football.
Right. No, I was never really into the football, but I got called to do line duty one day. For the life of me, I can't remember what the teacher's name was. He was one of the young lads. And whatever. Anyway, we told them that we were conscripted into the job, and it was the last time we were ever on the line for it.
Had enough. And David, then your early memories of Boyle, what were those days like? Or do you have any strong memory as a young fella in Boyle? This is now prior to drinking days, maybe.
Prior to those, yeah. Well, during the drinking days, we don't remember much. So
Yes, that's what I did say
we'll
that.
go prior, indeed. McDonald's was always a favourite. Going in for the videos or the DVDs. What were they back then? They were the videotapes.
There were videos,
yeah.
yeah. The DVD had a now short shelf life.
It was a little later for a short time, all right.
Yeah.
And Bob Fairs, of course.
Yeah, Bob Fairs was the
Yeah.
hub there. And then do you remember a couple of years? Well, I think they coexisted at the same time as well, but you had Don's on the Lawn. That was probably maybe a little bit after your days, maybe.
The two of them did
they?
overlap, yeah.
Don's.
But we used to go down an odd time, but I think I was just, maybe I had grown out of it at that stage.
Because you see, Don's had the appeal of, there was the pool table.
Yeah.
It was a little bigger of facility.
It had the space.
Whereas Bob Fairs had, now there seemed to be plenty of machines in there at the time, but it was only a limited space.
We used to go in there every morning. Our bus used to arrive a bit early, and we'd all go down and we'd all put 10p back in the day. It was pennies, so 10 pence into a kitty, and we get a pound out of it, and we get a box of 10 cigarettes. For £1 and playing the games till whatever time school started, and that was the start of nearly every day. Like, yeah.
And so then, moving on then to the social life, because Boyle obviously back in those days was a vibrant town, a lot of pubs at one stage. I think there was 32 pubs maybe. Now, I think that's...
They say for one short time there was 32 pubs.
Or 32 licenses anyway.
One for every
county
in Ireland.
Depending on what way you look of Ireland. But I think in the 80s, definitely the mid-90s, there would have been 20 plus pubs, vibrant pubs as well, in town.
Yeah.
So, from your recollection, what was a good night out in Boyle? What did it consist of?
Whew. What's the pub that was out Patrick Street?
Clark's, Cars.
Behan, the Three Counties.
Three Counties.
Frankie had it for a
Feehan.
while.
Yeah, Feehan's.
So
it used to be before that. It was Maloney's, wasn't it?
Was Maloney's before that?
Yeah, Brendan.
Yeah, Brendan Maloney's.
Yeah.
We used to go there. We were between Maloney's and our gang. You see, at that stage I was working in the Forest Park in the hotel, and there'd be a good few people there and they got on well with Brendan, and I suppose Maloney's pub was their favourite, that maybe and Lavin's. And Creighton's. And then later on it became the Moylurg was nearly every night. I liked the Moylurg some nights if you weren't in at 9:30, 10 o'clock.
No space for you.
You weren't getting in.
That would have been during Eileen and Carmel's tenure.
Yeah.
They were the days I remember as well, from, just being a young fella, sticking the head out the window, seeing all the having the crack. And I still like, when I try and explain it to people how crazy the town was, I used to look out, because we lived over the Chipper, obviously,
right.
and I used to look out my parents' bedroom window, because every Friday, Saturday, Sunday night, you were guaranteed, it's like a theatre, seeing all these heads coming out from anything from 11:30 to 4 a.m. in the morning. You were guaranteed just a spread of heads. And it was great. It was such entertainment. And as I said, to try and explain that to someone nowadays that didn't witness that or experience that, they wouldn't believe you.
It's so different, isn't it? Yeah.
It really is. So like the pub scene back then, as you said, if you weren't in by 9:30, and that was on a normal run-of-the-mill Saturday night.
It could happen, yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't get
Yeah.
space. And then, as we all said before as well, Paddy's Day, New Year's, Stephen's Day, forget about it at maybe 1 o'clock in the day.
Yeah. It was mad. Absolutely. Yeah, you would not get your head in the door. You
Yeah.
could be outside, and if you were lucky enough, 3 or 4 people might leave as you were arriving. And that was your only chance to get in because it was jammed.
Yeah.
Do you know the one thing I remember? I would have been just walking around town at that stage. I would have been just a teenager, but the music coming from every pub, and it wasn't just the jukebox, or it wasn't just a DJ even. It was live bands.
Yeah.
Like 4 and 5 people in a band. It was magic. When you walked through the town, there was music coming from every place.
Oh, the crack was
the music,
unreal, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think it was Barry Lowe was great back in those days for getting live music and bands.
And Kelly's as well.
Yeah,
the Moving Stairs, and then Kelly's was brilliant as well for the bands.
For just, as you said, getting live music.
Yeah.
And
but now even going into a pub, it would be either a DJ maybe, but like a one-man band. You don't really see bands with 4 and 5 people in them anymore in pubs. It's kind of changed.
I think, probably it's
only at weddings.
It's not viable, I think, maybe to have in the pub scene nowadays, that it doesn't make...
Well, space-wise, I suppose, and then expense.
Exactly.
I was talking to someone recently and they were looking for a one-man band. They said you couldn't get over the price of them, that they're just really expensive now. And I suppose back then, they probably weren't as expensive.
Probably not, yeah.
So, Dave, you remember... You mentioned that you worked in Parker's, the nightclub.
Yeah, tell us
about that.
Did you work in the hotel as well, David, or just Parker's?
Worked in the hotel, yeah. I used to do a few weddings, waiting on tables and that as well. During the day, not very often, but I think I just turned 17 when I started. So after a while, anyway, got in behind the bar, and a night working in Parker's, I used to always think was far better than a night going out to a disco.
Really?
We just had so much fun. Oh, it was, we just clicked, and it was just the crack. And we knew all the gang as well that were there, so you could spend a bit of time. You wouldn't have much time, because again, Parker's every night was jammed. It was out the door.
It was.
Yeah.
There's some great archive video footage that Dermot Layden has of Parker's in the 80s, I think, isn't it?
Yes,
it's the 80s.
Of the dinner dances and
stuff. The dinner dances, and even just kind of normal Saturday nights.
Right.
Dance floor full of people.
Yeah.
And great times. So you worked, it was Michael Gilmartin.
Michael, yeah.
Yeah. And also at the same time, for a brief period of time, you had Parker's and Cleo's above what's now Londis. But imagine Boyle having 2 nightclubs coexisting at the same time. Again, someone that didn't live through that era would go this is madness. And there was plenty of business for the 2 of them to be wedged.
The amazing thing, nowadays, I don't know, do many people go to Carrick, but all of Carrick used to come over to Boyle.
Did they?
Yeah. Carrick, that's what made, I'd say, Cleo's and definitely Parker's. I remember, there used to be busloads of people coming over from Carrick.
That's mad.
So, because, obviously we remember, what's the place in Carrick that we used to go
Cartown.
to? Cartown, obviously.
Yeah.
That wasn't around at the same time Parker's was it?
Oh, I think it was it?
So when you say, why wouldn't Carrick stay in Carrick, or is it just they wanted to change the scenery, is it, and they'd come over?
Well, I think, from my perception years ago, Boyle was way ahead of Carrick.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that the young ones in Carrick, it
was the place to be.
Boyle was the place to be, yeah.
Yeah.
So they just, yeah.
And then for Cleo's, your memory would probably be a bit hazy, but what was Cleo's like?
Cleo's, well, by the time Cleo's came around, I think I was in the wheelchair. So, yeah, So the bouncers used to carry me up the stairs in the chair, and one of my mates would always be behind me, like, just for protection.
Yeah.
But Cleo's was good crack as well.
Yeah. And
Like,
you know,
They used to carry up the stairs. Wow.
I think it was 2 bouncers, one on each side. Yeah, and then my mate, who'd be as sober as I was, behind me.
Just in case anything happened.
security.
God, when you think how far things have come in terms of accessibility and all of that, imagine that happening today.
A bit different, all right. Yeah.
It would, and the other thing
There's
as well.
a lot of steps too.
There was. It
There
was
was
a
a lot of
straight
steps.
staircase up, really, wasn't it? Yeah. The other thing as well that a lot of people, because obviously we were beside it, so my bedroom, as I used to always say, was next door to Cleo's, but it was soundproofed.
Yeah.
Cleo's side was soundproofed.
We could hear ye, but ye couldn't hear us.
Exactly.
I might have robbed that from somebody else.
But it's a good one. No, I heard that. It is very good. But it's also one that I always used to have these before I actually saw Cleo's in person. I used to think that this was a massive nightclub. As a young fella, I didn't know. And then when I saw it, it was just like, that was big enough, but it wasn't. When you see the crowds that used to come out of Cleo's, I couldn't understand how they could fit in.
Yeah.
It was that big.
Without being on each other's shoulders or something.
Exactly. Yeah. But those nights, as I said, combined with you had the crowds coming out of Cleo's, you had crowds still coming out of the Moylurg and from downtown, and obviously then between the Little Chick and Maranello's, and then you have buses coming back from Carrick.
Yeah.
It was a swarm of people.
It was like so busy for hours.
Yeah. Well, 4 o'clock on a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday was a kind of the norm, and there was still the old doorbell being rang on the Little Chick at 4:30 when the blinds would go down. It was like people still coming, looking for a bit of grub, but.
You can't blame them now, in fairness, because the food was delicious.
Well, as to say, what to say after a feed a drink.
Oh, well, I tell you, it was absolutely.
It was so funny, the last customers on, say, a Saturday night could be 5:30 in the morning, and Mary would be like, we're only doing steak and kidney pies or curry pies. And they'd be like, I'll have one of each, give me whatever you have. And then the next day they'd come in and they'd be like, what did I eat last night? You'd be so desperate.
Did I owe you? I owe you first?
You'd be so desperate for any bit of food, and they'd never ever order. Nobody ordered steak and kidney pies any other time. It was just the last order. They never sold during the week.
That was the emergency standby.
Well, it's because they were already cooked, and you could just put them in the microwave. And you're like, all we have is steak and kidney pies. I'll have 5 of them. Yeah.
So then, obviously, as well, Dave, we touched on before was you had these factions. So you had the Cloonloos, the Ballymotes, the Ballas coming over, and then you had, again, there was these cliques, and they used to be some right good old fights going on for years.
They went on for years, all right. I don't actually know why it stopped.
I was going to say why it started. Yeah, why did it stop?
Everyone grew up.
Everyone probably just got a bit of sense. It was like, what are we doing?
What are we doing?
And we see each other tomorrow, we'd be laughing and joking with each other.
No heat at all.
No. And I think that's one thing that's changed. That's changed a lot in modern days is, okay, you won't have as much that. We hardly have a police station here, really, compared to what we had. But obviously, we don't have the nightclubs, and we don't even have the amount of pubs as we had, and certainly don't have the amount of people going into them. So we probably don't need a full-time Garda patrol, even though I think some people would say we do.
Yeah.
But there was a few fisticuffs, and that was it. And as a witness myself to many of these scraps, you'd see fellas, and sometimes women now, in fairness, punching the heads of each other.
Yeah, there was
And then they'd be there clinking a bottle or a glass, shaking hands, going in for an old spice burger or something into the chipper after. And that was it.
Yeah.
It was...
Nowadays, you could step on somebody's toe by accident, or I could roll across somebody's toe by accident, and they'd still hold it against you, like, for a week or two later.
They would. They'd try bring you up the stairs for it as well.
But yeah, no, there was plenty of blood spilt, and there was nothing said the next day.
No, it was exactly. There was no. It was all.
It was like a sport or something just to do.
It was part of the culture, wasn't it?
It was like part of the nightlife at the time or something. Yeah.
Well, I know as a young fellow witness this, I'd be awfully disappointed if there was no rows after, because that was my entertainment at the weekend. But so Dave, what did Boyle feel like back then as a town compared to now, in your opinion?
Well, it's quieter. The shops are quieter. Some of them, at least, anyway. Every Sunday we used to, all the Cloonloo lads, and girls, I suppose, as well, some of them used to join us. We'd all congregate in Boyle for a few hours and might go out to Lockheed. But it was the pleasure grounds. We'd be all meeting up, people down there. But there wasn't, like, I don't remember us all drinking cans or any of that crack, even though we could have, I suppose.
Yeah.
But now you don't see anybody around.
No, you really don't.
No.
We're only saying that as well about Terman and, Church Few. You used to see kids playing everywhere out in the streets, toys, picking a ball. You don't see that anymore.
You don't. No, all you see is traffic.
Mm.
I don't have no idea where the traffic is coming from or going to, but they're not stopping off in Boyle. From what I can see, most of it at least. But it's changed. It's got so much quieter. Like, even back, I remember getting videotapes, and like, you might be a day or two late returning the tape to the one up on the across from Trojan, and you'd just drop it in very quickly and be gone. Because you get fined, I don't know what.
That's right.
A couple of pence or something.
It was the Boyle Video Centre. It was Desi McLaughlin, I think.
Was it Desi had that one?
Yeah. It's there where Wynn's Solicitors
around
is.
there,
yeah. It was there on the corner as you go into SuperValue.
Oh, right.
That's where it was.
Yeah.
But you used to be afraid dropping it back a day late.
Yeah. There you get away with it. The other one, there was another one down the town then, Blockbusters.
Where Troy is.
Well, where was Paramount then?
Not Blockbuster. Sorry, I'm thinking of Paramount.
This was Paramount.
That's where Troy is or was.
And which one was on Patchy Street? On Main Street, on out towards Bank of Ireland.
Oh, Extravision?
Extravision.
Yeah.
But that's modern day.
Yeah.
That's only, 40 years ago?
Yeah. I loved Extravision, though. I really loved that premise. I just thought it was it was so lit up on the street. It stood out.
Yeah.
And that was only short-lived, really, as well.
Very short-lived, yeah.
I think it was... Like what? Maybe
I couldn't put a time on it. But was it like 4 years?
No,
or
I think it was maybe more, because there was the transition between. Was there the transition between video and DVD in there? I'm not sure.
I think mostly DVD in there.
Right.
Yeah, could have been.
But
remember, you could buy as well, like. And it's not even that long ago, but remember you could buy like the big packets of popcorn and the big multi-packets of sweets and sharing bags. Like, there was none of that in the shops back then. So Extravision was such a treat. Like, it was so different. Whereas now you can get that kind of stuff everywhere. Just the magic. It had some magic in it.
And Extravision were there after the cinema, I think, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well after. Yeah, well after.
Yeah.
That was...
Because the cinema, as well, that was great.
Did you go often?
I used to go to the cinema fairly often, yeah.
The upstairs, downstairs, the balcony,
there was a Joe around with the camera.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, you wouldn't want to get that flashed on you either.
Ah, you did not at the time. He'd be around with the flashlight. He always chose the worst time.
Yeah. And so thinking back, were there any characters around Boyle? I'm always fascinated to know who, people had in their mind as like great characters around town that you can obviously mention maybe. But whether they were pub characters or just, for me, 40 Coats. What's his name, actually? I can't remember.
Mark Castle Baldwin.
Yeah, he was meant to be a brilliant singer as well. Trained, was an opera singer, I think.
So.
I think he was. Yeah, he's definitely trained, but he used to scare the hell out of me as a young fella. But he was meant to be an absolute gentleman. But he was a character that I always kind of associate with my youth in and around Boyle. Just wondering, would you have any
equivalent?
Jerry Emmett's brother, Kieran.
Yes.
He was, Kieran Emmett was some character altogether. He was.
You heard so many stories about him.
Yeah,
and a very witty man.
Very witty, yeah. And all the stories, as mad and all as they were, you could be 100% guaranteed that they're the pure truth. He was a great man, great man.
He was a good musician as well.
Yes, yeah. He used to head off to the Flas every year.
That's exactly one of the stories I'd have heard.
Could take a few weeks to come back from.
Yes.
Yeah. Weather was better back then.
It was. And then, Dave, are there any things that you miss about the old Boyle?
I remember days like we used to, presuming to be the weekend, but we used to walk around the top walls in the Abbey in Boyle, different things like that. And every Sunday we used to go out to the park and we'd take the boat, hire out the boat. 4 of us would arrive to hire out the boat off
Pete Walsh.
Pete Walsh, yeah, that's right.
Off Pete, and we'd pull over a little bit further over, and about 5 or 6 more would get into the boat, and we'd arrive back at about 6:30 or 7 o'clock with the boat. And we used to have greater crack, like we'd just be rowing around the lake, but little things like that.
Did you ever go down much to the Doon Shore? Because that was a rocking place back in the summer days, anyway. But
not really, no. Myself and another lad, we used to go down to, we spent our time going down to Ballyfernan for a while, but not down to Doon Shore.
Yeah, Doon Shore used to, in my day, was always the place. Rockingham wasn't such a big, still people used to go there, and obviously you had Assylin, which was the main place to swim in town, obviously.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
And then you had Doon Shore, and Rockingham not so much.
You see, for Rockingham, we used to cycle into Boyle, so we'd cycle out to Rockingham, but to cycle down to Doon Shore was a fair cycle up.
Yes.
So maybe that's what put us off. I don't ever remember us going down to Doon Shore until we were driving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The spinning from Cloonloo on the bike must have been long enough.
Take us a few minutes.
Yeah.
But there was always a bit of crack, like the banter on the way in, and sure, the day just
what
used
you were
to
made
fly.
for, yeah.
And used to be thumbing then. I remember nights thumbing out from, I don't know, maybe it was after Cleo's or something. You'd be thumbing a lift home, and people would be saying, "Is this the road to Culfather?" Or not the road to Culfather, but the road to Gurchin, and say, "Oh yeah, it is." And until we dropped it off to the house, and then you'd have to go down here to the left, and you go in under the bridge, and then you go to the right, and you keep going, and that'll bring you to Gurchin.
So you brought them the roundabout way.
You get them all. Got home first.
Do you remember the gala festivals?
Oh, they used to be great fun.
Yeah. So you would obviously. Would you have been drinking back in those days when the gala?
What years were they?
I'm going to say the height of the gala would have been, I'm thinking, about 91, 92. So I would have been a young fella, maybe 12, 13. So I'm just trying to think, would they have been drinking days or early drinking days anyway?
No, because 92 was when I went to Dunleary, so it would have been probably 94 or that when I was
Was it 92 when you were in Dunleary?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't. For some reason, I thought that was more. Yeah, that's 3 years is a big difference then. And
Yeah. Well, I actually thought it was 93 up to a couple of weeks ago. Sometimes you think these things, but then I did the re-maths again. It was 92. But yeah, so we kind of have skipped a few years of the galas, but would have seen a few of them all right. Yeah.
They were brilliant. They were big with the balloons. For me personally, they were my favorite times of the year. So the summer and then September for the balloons, the hot air balloons.
Yeah, I never remember us going out as far as the park for the hot air balloons. I remember the hot air balloons flying over us while we were out at home on the farm, out in the fields. You'd hear this puff and the next thing look up and there they were. Yeah.
So Dave, do you think you would have seen Boyle change over the years for the better or worse overall? Obviously progression happens everywhere. But in your view, modern day Boyle in 2025 as opposed to, let's call it the golden years of the 90s, for example.
Yeah. For it's been negative now at the moment.
Yeah, but that's fair enough. But that's being honest. You know, we know there's positives and negatives everywhere. We have to speak it the way they are.
There's a lot of rundown buildings. It's a pity about a lot of them. Just it was lovely back then. It was a booming town, and it was a lovely town to go into. Day, night, whatever age we were, it didn't really matter. Up till the last few years, I think it's kind of changed.
Yeah, I think that's across the board as well especially I think maybe since COVID kind of.
Well, definitely COVID, all right.
Yeah.
The few positive things that I thought I saw coming from COVID didn't last long, but the negative things are still here with us.
Yeah. And so maybe just to segue into that, I try and ask as many people as I can about their COVID experience or maybe a lasting memory that kind of defines the COVID era for them. Is there a memory or a day that you remember, good or bad? You know, some people loved the COVID lockdowns. It gave them kind of peace to settle and that kind of thing. What's your personal?
Yeah, I enjoyed the lockdowns as well. Just knew there was no knocking coming on the door. You could just chillax. I used to have a container of goat's milk or a container of milk in the back of the car. I was in it for a whole duration of a few lockdowns because of freaking out to home. I was actually stopped once. They said, "Where are you going?" Out of home, bringing out milk to the folks. So,
isn't it gas though that was a thing people had to.
Yeah.
We've heard so many stories.
Many crazy stories about what
you had to do to get to A to B. If you were stopped, you had to come up.
And you were sent home, like you were over your 2 kilometers, your 5 kilometers, whatever it was at the time, and they'd send you home.
Yeah.
Turn around and go back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they've brought anyone to jail or anything over it, but
I don't think so.
There's been one or two examples.
There's been a few people fined, definitely.
Okay.
But I think the majority of those, a lot of people didn't pay the fines because they knew they couldn't do anything really.
Yeah.
Because there was no proper law as such.
Right.
For that. It was emergency stuff, so.
Yeah.
It didn't now, but then again, fear plays a lot for people as well. So a lot of people would have paid fines or
out of fear and just keep law abiding. And all the rest of it. Yeah.
And then, so you mentioned there maybe some of the potential negatives of Boyle, how it's changed. Is there anything about modern day Boyle that you prefer in nowadays, 2025, as opposed to back in the 90s? What has been a positive change in modernity, basically?
Positive change. Yeah, I think the fact the GA and the soccer have kind of joined up together and getting sponsorship and funding and different things, and they are doing serious work. Like
They are, yeah.
the pitches they've put up is just out of this world.
Really, it is. Like,
Yeah.
you couldn't even imagine maybe, 15, 20 years ago, the facility that both clubs have, but specifically, for me anyway, definitely Boyle Celtic has just come on leaps and bounds.
Big time.
From playing on a little mud patch for training to a better mud patch for, especially in the winter time, to have an all-weather surface now with the Halcawley stand. You have the current development is going to create a big new clubhouse with like a viewing room, and it's state-of-the-art stuff.
Yeah.
It really is just crazy.
It is. It's brilliant, all right. The one fault is the lights are blinding when you're driving past. But
very true. Coming in the N4 from Sligo.
And going out, it can get you as
well.
Yeah,
it can.
Yeah.
But
it's great, and it's brilliant for the kids. I love, like, I've gone down a few times just to watch the nieces playing, and you'd just be on the sideline laughing. But they're so funny, but they're great. Yeah.
It is.
And there's such an interest in it.
Yeah.
Where we had none of that at all. Like, we're out the country and we're in fields, but at their age.
So I remember playing out in the crossing the Brown Trout, the Cloonloo pitch, wasn't it? Used to be out past,
yes,
opposite
past it, on the other side of the road.
And it was like a hill.
There wasn't much to it.
There wasn't much.
I don't even remember it. I know where it is, but I don't actually remember.
It was a rocky hill. But great memories,
I think it was a goalie or something. Maybe it could have been with Cloonloo. I'm not sure, but my main place was in goals anyway, lying up against the goalpost, smoking and chatting. And much interest in sport.
You were also in a bit of politics at some stage a few years back, was it?
Yeah, it was back. A cousin of mine passed on, Jerry Murray, rest in peace, and he was a politician for many's the year out in South Sligo, so I was asked to take his seat. But and so I took it for the end of the term, which was 4 or 5 months. But and that was very interesting work. I absolutely loved it. I thought I'd hate it. I dreaded the thought of
What did you like
up.
about it? Just if you don't mind me asking you. Yeah.
I think it was helping people. Like, I know I used to get maybe the odd email or text or something. We got one of them at like 12 o'clock on a Saturday night, but you didn't care. Just, you knew a line. If you didn't know where to go, you had friends in the party that knew where to go. So, like, over the 5 months, the amount of stuff that was done, that I think they kind of wanted to help me out, the engineers and different people. But yeah, I enjoyed it so much. I did regret that I didn't run for it afterwards for the next election, but so is life.
And would you consider down the line getting involved in some way again?
I don't think so. I think politics has gone. It's changed a lot. Yeah. And I used to have the theory that the politicians were the liars, but it's actually the people are the liars. in some stages. Sometimes the politician needs to be told the truth.
That's a good angle, yeah.
That's what I think myself anyway, because there's a few, we wouldn't agree with everything any of them come out with, but you'd agree with a lot of some of them.
And do they all, if you were to describe an ideal politician, for example, I think...
Does it exist?
Well, does it exist, first of all? But one thing they have to have is thick skin.
Thick skin, exactly.
And really, in a lot of cases, not care what people think, even though that's obviously maybe not the right attitude to have. They should care. But I do think having thick skin would be a trait that most politicians have.
Yeah, you wouldn't survive a week in politics without thick skin. And if you took offence by what you were being told, you wouldn't last a day. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
So you can see, I can see a bit of both sides of it now. Disappointment with a lot of it, but yeah.
So it's not something you'd consider then down the line. At this point, anyway.
At this point in time, no, and I'm getting old, so I don't think so. No. But I was sorry back then that I didn't. I should have, when I was asked to run, I should have ran for it. But I wouldn't have probably got elected anyway. But it would be better to go out fighting than
Exactly.
just to drift out. Because the last meeting, I actually just got up and left. I didn't make any big speech or nothing.
And then there just some kind of final few questions that I have would be, if someone asked you, what was Boyle like back in the good old days? How would you describe it to them?
There was no focus. Now everything is focus on money as far as I can see. And I think the start of that was the euro. That we started to get screwed when the changeover from the punt to the euro. But I think that it's just too money orientated. Drugs. I know we drank, it was our own drug, but you knew what you were kind of, it was sort of controllable. But now I don't even go out anymore. I gave up drink 14 years ago, so...
Is it that long, 14?
It's over 14 years, yeah. So.
And do you miss it?
2011. No, very seldom. An odd time, I'd say that it would be very nice just to sit back and have a glass of paddy, but no, not really.
And you'd feel comfortable enough after, 14 years now, that if there was a do on, you go into the pub there, you're totally relaxed? Or is it a case of, do you still... Because remember, obviously, we grew up in a drinking culture. That's just the way it was.
Yeah.
You know, we all did our fair share of drinking. And a lot of people wouldn't be able to... So if they did give up drink, they would never go... Not saying never, but in general, they would shy away from anything that involved having a good time in a pub, because they'd either feel the urge or they'd like, well, I'm missing out. So you're quite comfortable in that way.
Yeah, no urge at all. The only thing is, what else do you drink when you're in the pub? Because I seem to get a hangover from 0-0. I get a hangover from drinking orange. You get a headache. You don't feel great after.
Well, yeah, if you have too much of the fizzy drinks, it can...
So tap water, you feel bad asking for it, because even like Ballygown,
yeah,
I can't drink Ballygown either.
The sparkling stuff.
Any of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't know what it is. Just if I had 2 glass bottles of Ballygown, I kind of had a headache the next day as well.
Would you?
Yeah. So, it's tap water or something, or I suppose something that can charge you for. Add a bit of my waddy or something to it.
And for your social life now, David, what does that look like? Obviously, back in the day, we can all talk about the pubs and the nightclubs and all that, but do you go out now, drink coffee and things like that? Like, what would you do to socialise?
Now we go out in the middle of the day, have dinner, have a coffee, of course, or tea. Usually it's in Carrick. Over to Coffees, have some of their nice stuff as well, and just sit there and watch the cars drive by. And on a nice day, just chillax. Yeah. But you see, I got an electric.
I was going to ask you about this, because we had a great chat one day outside Lovage a while back, and you were filling me in on all the bits and pieces and the tech that's involved in it. So maybe for listeners, I call it a kind of a hybrid wheelchair. Would it be something like that? It's manual, and you can also make the attachment to make it electric.
Yeah, the chair is manual, and you attach this. It makes it. It's a drive assist. I think is the legal term for it. So, but it's a great invention altogether. So you can travel along. Now I used to be booting along like in third gear after a shower rain and be all mud and all sorts of stuff on the ground, and I'd find it was all up the back of my jacket or across the top of my head, and I was absolutely destroyed.
Oh,
There's
stop.
no mud guards on it.
No mud guards. I actually tried to make mud guards, but they didn't work out for me. So what I did figure out was that if I went a bit slower, the dirt didn't fly up as high.
And
So,
and
no.
then for, I can't remember what distance or the battery. What duration can you get from the battery, or what distance can you get?
Yeah, it'll do about 24 kilometres in distance.
Right.
And once I get to 24, it could do to 30, but you're not guaranteed.
And that would be going at a kind of optimum speed, if you like.
I don't think speed makes much of a difference. It doesn't seem to. I thought it did, but no. The first time it ran out, I made a miscalculation. I was going down to Coot Hall. For some reason, I got it into my head that it was 10 kilometres. But it was 10 kilometres each way. So I was just coming up the hill of Jared Malarkey's when the first time it died. So I spent the next, I wouldn't give in and ring anybody for help. So it took me an hour and a half to push it, because you had to steer it with one hand and push the wheelchair with the other hand,
Oh, stop.
and then swap over. So the shoulders were up about 3 inches higher than they are now. And I went straight to bed.
That was a bit of a workout.
Shattered.
And what's the furthest distance then that you've actually gone? Did you say that you went over and back to Carrick, or would that would be within that
Yeah.
distance? Yeah. So that would be kind of on the brink, would it, of?
Well, I could have gone over to Carrick on the train and back to Carrick through Coot Hall and through the Forest Park, back that way. But it'll probably do both ways, over and back. I know for sure that I've done it each way on one occasion and got a lift back, but to say that I've done it both ways, I'm not sure about.
And Dave, how then would you choose, or why would you choose the electric? I was going to say the electric chair, but when would you choose that over driving? Is there, like, obviously distance wise, fair enough, but do you say today I'll use the chair instead of get out a bit of fresh air? Is that what gives you?
It's fresh air. It's meeting people, having the chat. Like we met you one day.
That's
we
right.
Had a great old
Yeah,
chat
we did.
all together, and there was no rush. There was no rain. The weather now has perked up for until probably March.
Yes, yeah.
The weather, you wouldn't go out on it in this weather. But it is, like, I'd go out home on it, no problem at all, and back again. The quiet roads are great. Busy road. And once you have a hard shoulder as well, it's 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did we say, how fast can it go? You mentioned third gear, was it, on it?
Yeah, third gear would probably get to about 19 kilometres an hour.
All right. Okay.
First gear, 15 or 12, I think, something like that. Yeah. So that stops the mud.
Yeah. And is it easy to attach and detach as you need?
Yeah, it just clips on and off. I had it a short while. I was in the shop in Sligo, and it's just accelerating very slightly, and the next thing the wheel popped off altogether. I might have had it 3 or 4 months. So the wheel popped off, so I went off to a shop and got the loan of tools to put it back together again, and got it back together and connected it up again, accelerated, and the wheel came off again. It turned out that they came from China, that the fork wasn't long enough. You know, the little groove that the axle fits up into, it wasn't long enough. So it was vibrating over and back so much that it had widened it. and it wouldn't fit back into it. So I made up a metal part, because I used to do tool making back in the day. Made up 2 metal parts that bolted onto it, so this was never coming off again.
And I think you told me, or you were telling me when we chatted that time outside Lovage, that you can get a spare battery, or do you have a spare battery for it if you were out, just say for, you wanted to have a bit more flexibility with the time, the distance and that, or the duration. So do you have a spare for it, or is it just the one? You do?
No, I have a spare battery as well, so that'll do like another 25.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have that.
Just the backup in case.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because what the theory was, that a battery would last longer if I ran it flat. I charge it from flat to full.
Okay.
So that's what I was doing for a good while. And it did it actually. The batteries didn't last as long when I got it first. And then it added another 5 or 6 kilometres doing this, messing with it. Now it's probably like to have it 7 years.
The same battery?
Same batteries, yeah.
And what's the cycle life like on that? Has it degraded somewhat at all?
Very little.
Where was that made in?
Where? When?
Yeah. Is that a Chinese?
It's a Chinese. Came from Alibaba or AliExpress or one of those.
Yeah,
Bought it off that, yeah.
That's a long time for a bag, because you'd use it daily.
Yeah, usually I would. Like, during the summer, it's hard to catch me at the house because I'm gone somewhere, anywhere. Yeah. Sligo, Dublin, anywhere in between.
Yeah. Interesting.
And how do you find, David, like you said there, you were at the Christmas party today with the IWA. Do you find places are a lot more wheelchair friendly these days in terms of accessibility and things like that, especially when you do get out as much as you do? Is it improving?
It's improving.
But it still needs
work.
Yeah.
A lot of places you find like somebody comes in and tells them what to do.
Yeah.
But it's not the right thing at all. Like, you see a lot of places now, the bathroom door would open in the way.
Yes.
Which is a little awkward when you have a wheelchair parked where the door is beside you.
Yeah, that's true, yeah. You wouldn't think of that, actually. Yeah.
No. I've come across that in a few places. And then other places you can't get in, no place, so you have to have somebody on guard duty at the door. Ramps are a different thing as well. Even where the dipped curb is down on the footpath is usually in the wrong place, or you'll have a van or a car or something parked on top of it. So that makes it a bit difficult. But I suppose with Cryan, the one place like you could get dinner in, has a step into it as well.
Yeah.
So, which I actually fell out of one day years ago. I wasn't drinking even, sadly.
Right.
But the back wheels I hadn't the attachment. The back wheel just slipped on the wet thing straight down on my shoulder. Yeah.
Would you have to be careful? Like, obviously,
not
everywhere is geared up.
The new crossings then must be good in terms of a positive addition, for being able to cross the road more frequently throughout the town.
Yeah, no, they're a great job, all right. Yeah. Some of them might be a little bit close to if it's a roundabout.
Yeah.
But, yeah, the crossings are great, all right. Yeah. Yeah.
So, Dave, people would know, obviously, of your accident back in the 92. So, do you remember the moment that you realised that your life was going to change permanently as a result of that accident?
Back in 92, I think within a week or 2 weeks, doctor came around and said that you're paralysed, you'll never walk again. But it was taken with a pinch of salt, kind of. It wasn't believed. We didn't believe it. Though I'd made a few friends in Dunleary over the period of time as well, and we were all told the same story by the staff up there that, this is only temporary, that 5 or 10 years' time they'll have a cure for paralysis, that you'll be up running around in another 7, 8, 9, 10 years, whatever it'll be. So it was only temporary. But after a few years then kind of figured out, all right, that this wasn't going to be temporary after all, that it was what it was, and try and get on with it. But the problem as well back in Dunleary then was that there was no counselling, or there was no help per se. There was no help at all. Once you were home, and you were kind of on your own. And you had all those demons to deal with. So it was self-medication for a few years then to try and get through that, or put it on the back boiler for a while, so you don't have to deal with it, because you never deal with anything through that way. You have to actually face up to it and deal with it that way. But then a few years later, a very close friend died, and then I made the decision anyway that it was either drink or it was not going to end well at all. So I gave up the drink altogether, and that's why I'm not drinking now. But I got the counselling then started after that, and every other sort of help that was out there. So I grabbed it all, took it all, because I needed it all at the time. And even times now, it's still sore enough at times. But yeah, I don't know. I get annoyed at times with myself, because after the accident, the way I didn't deal with stuff. If I had dealt with it then, I felt I wasted all those years, like however number of years it was, by, I don't know, drinking and all the rest of it that went with it. And I suppose that's why if I was giving advice to anybody as well about it, or about life in general, or if they're coming across problems themselves, is to talk to somebody and kind of deal with it honestly, face up to it without medicating themselves through drugs or alcohol, or even like cigarettes, like smoking 40 or 60 a day was a fair old few, and along with the rest of it. So, yeah.
And Dave, what would have been in those, maybe that first year after the accident, what would have been the hardest adjustment you had to make in those first year, really?
One of the hardest things was to actually go out again. It took months, I think, before people actually forced me to. It was actually going to, the Royal Hotel was open at the time. So we used to go to the Royal an odd time. I think Cleo's then for a while, but Cleo's didn't have a bathroom facility, so we used to go across to the Plunkett home for that.
And like your social life after the accident, you said it was hard initially to go out and get back into maybe having a bit of a social life, but did you feel that you were being judged afterwards when you kind of came around to things? And
probably initially no, but I think I had this kind of perception that I was standing out in the crowd, sitting in the crowd but standing out at the same time. So you're always noticed now. And I have to say, like, there were good times, but at the same time, the amount of things that I missed because I just couldn't deal with stuff. But then, like after years later, then when I had to get other help, I got counselling then straight away. So because the counsellor said, well, you should have got that like 20 years ago or whatever length of time it was. But it didn't exist back then. So it was across the country, you got your counselling.
Right.
Yeah.
And what helped you the most, Dave, in coping mentally with the early days of the accident? What helped you the most?
I don't know. I'm not sure if I did cope very well at all, to be honest with you. And it kind of always, there was a lot of annoyance because you always kind of thought, well, I always had this feeling that it's not just me that's going through this. It's all my family and friends and all the rest of it as well. So there was other people like maybe not feeling the exact same pain, but they were feeling pain like in their own different way at the time. They probably needed, some like family would have probably needed help as well with dealing with it, because I think somebody said recently to me that it's one of the most major traumatic experiences you can put your body can go through and still survive. Which kind of made sense.
Made sense, yeah.
I can't see what else would be nearly worse than it.
Yeah. Both physically and mentally,
and
emotionally.
Mentally. Yeah.
And not just for you, but obviously for your family and friends, as you said.
Yeah.
And if you could speak to your younger self then, just after the accident, back in those days, what would you say if you could go back?
I think I'd have maybe had more contact with people that had gone through it and talked it over with them. I've probably opened up a little better to family as well over it. It galls me for years later that I drank so hard for it. But
it was a coping mechanism.
It was a coping mechanism, yeah. But then as well, there was pain too, which is still there. Like there's kind of phantom pains. So drink kind of helped you sleep. But possibly I didn't need to be to the excess that it was given at times.
There just wasn't the support back then, with counselling, and even the little bit that was there, it just wasn't common. It wasn't a thing that people sought, back then. Things have changed a lot.
They have changed, thankfully.
For the better.
And a lot of it for the better, all right.
What do you wish would be one thing that people understood better about living with paralysis? Because I'm sure there are many misconceptions.
Yeah, well, even looking for myself as a young fellow, when I'd see someone in a chair, all you saw was the chair. You didn't see anything else. You didn't know what they were going through or what was going on or anything like that. But 3 weeks after myself and the mates had ended up in Dunleary, we found that the wheelchair was the easiest part of the whole lot. That the wheelchair was nothing. It's all the medical stuff that goes with it. That's where the problems are. And I suppose as well then for a while Christopher Reeve gave us a bit of a hope. But that didn't work out either. But yeah, I think talking about discussing, like even now, if we're going through something, like we all have skin problems. I had a skin, it was called an ulcer for 3 months. It wasn't the size of the top of a biro on my IT, and I was told it was an ulcer for 3 months. I was given antibiotics and it was healed up for a week. And then it'll break down again. So back another week of antibiotics. Same crack over and back again. 3 or 4 times it happened. And I went down and I got asked the public health nurse to take a look at it. And she even said, and this is just telling you like how things were back then about paralysis. And even yet, like how many people have it around Boyle? I don't know. But she had a few people that had the same condition. And it says, do you not find a little bit of hard skin underneath the skin? Said, no, there's nothing there at all. So I went down to a mate of mine who's also in a wheelchair, and I explained the story to him. So he said, go home as quick as ever you can and get into bed. He says, and you'll be very lucky if you're out of it in 3 months. He says, that's a pressure sore. He said, the only way to get rid of it is lie in bed and do not put any pressure on it whatsoever. So that's one of the little things that can come.
One of many, yeah.
And it just happened, I spent, I think, a month and a half in bed, so it was healing up fairly well. And then there was a wedding. I didn't go to the church, but I went to the afters, and I minded it very well. The next day was the after party. I didn't mind it. And that was between Christmas Day and the New Year's Day, and I was still in bed for Paddy's Day. So it was sometime in the end of March or April when I was out again. So there's a lot more. The chair is nothing compared to...
It's the invisible stuff that people don't see.
All the invisible stuff, all right, yeah. And it's the way it plays with your mind, because like when I was 20, this wasn't actually the plan that I had seen for myself, for the lifeline that I had envisaged. I thought of being married and kids and, all the things that are natural and normal to a young fellow when they're 20. That seem like the natural, normal things that'll happen. But no, and I won't say like maybe it could have happened, but maybe even with counselling it may have. But anyways, it didn't, and it won't. So that's still there. It's one of those other things that you, along with the 4 wheels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just listening to you, David, it's like it's been a long road to get to even where you are today. It's been a long road, and I suppose we do have younger people listening. Based on your experience, is there any bit of advice that you'd like to give to the younger generation that might be listening?
Definitely keep away from cigarettes and drink and drugs, all of that. I got it into my mind a few years ago. I said that you're not living your life when you're controlled by something you're taking. So just live your life, because you have one life. You might as well live it as yourself rather than something else that came out of a bottle or came out of a syringe or whatever it was. So, and to try and enjoy it. But to be yourself, talk and have your few friends. Like years ago, you'd have a lot of friends, but tighten down the circle and have a good few friends that you can talk to. Yeah.
Great, yeah. And take control of it, I suppose. Yeah.
It's your life. Be in control of it, indeed. Yeah.
Well, I think we'll finish on that, David.
Yeah.
And suppose thanks for your time. Thanks for being so open and honest.
Yeah.
And it was a pleasure to have you.
A lot of people will get a good bit of inspiration from that. And as Flora said, thank you very much, Dave, for coming on and recording the episode with us.
Thanks very much, guys, and thanks for the opportunity. And it's the opportunity to probably, hopefully, warn at least one person, if that at all. So,
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So thank you very much indeed.
Thanks
so much.
Thank you.